What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. It's Moses here. Feels good to be back with my amazing co-host, Isaiah.
What's good, everybody? We got Mo back. Mo back.
Feels good. A little break the other night. Was out a little early, getting ready had a long week ahead of me before I go on spring break. But we're back again. Another video. New bracket update from Lunardi. Just dropped.
Like, we're not kidding. When we say just dropped, we mean like not even 15 minutes ago.
Just dropped.
Yeah.
But we're on it. A little late night recording session for y'all, but we love it. We love getting these vids out for y'all. We love talking about basketball. I just love hanging out, spending a little bit of time with my boy Zay. So we're gonna jump on into it. If you guys haven't seen Zay's solo vid that he put up on Monday, check it out. Obviously, a couple things have changed. We're gonna touch on that in this video, but always good to have the recap. March matters for a lot of these teams. It's important to know their paths and what's going on. So check that out. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Of course. But today,
come on, Mo.
Yeah.
Come on. We got a bubble update. The bubble that I had in my solo vid is different. So we've got some teams moving around, some teams that are new to the bubble, some teams that moved out of the bubble, some big results that kind of shifted it. So we'll go over the bubble, their next games, kind of their path, what they got to do. Congratulations to some teams that we'll name here next, and then a brief little overview of Lunardi's updated bracket with the new conference winners, with some winners and some losers in their previous games.
Yeah. Excited, man. Excited to dive on in.
With that being said, let's jump on in. The winners. Round of applause to all of these teams that have punched their ticket to be in March Madness. First, James Madison out of the Sun Belt. Deadly. That is going to be a tough, probably 12 seed.
For sure.
That's, what I think I had App State. I think you had James Madison, though.
I did, but you were still very high on them. You saw them as a threat, even though you picked App State. So
without a doubt. So that's exciting. We have Samford out of the Southern Conference, will probably be more of a 13 seed. Wagner out of the Northeast, I believe they were 6th in their conference standings, going through, winning it. They will be a 16 seed and have to play in. Congratulations to them.
Neither of us picked them, so
no,
big upset.
Seriously, that was a out of the blue total March pick. So congrats to them. We have Oakland out of the Horizon, will probably be a 14 seed. Charleston.
Oakland, 1 seed. We again disrespect them for whatever reason. We tried to pick some lower seeded teams there, but the big dog shut us up. And they're in March, so see how it goes. Yeah.
So that will be great for them. Probably a 14 seed. We have Charleston out of the Coastal Athletic. Kind of curious to see where they're seated. I think lowest is 13, highest is 12. They'll be somewhere in there.
12-game win streak for Charleston. Coming in hot.
They are, man. And they play really well. That's going to be a tough draw for whatever seed they get.
For sure.
As a Zags fan, this pains me to say, but they absolutely earned it. Played a hell of a game. I loved how scrappy it was for both teams. Congrats to St. Mary's winning the WCC redemption after Gonzaga defeated them at home handily last game. They got it back in blood. A great win, winning another WCC title. Congrats to the Gales.
Yeah.
And the last team, South Dakota State, getting a win in the Summit, clinching their spot in the bracket. Probably will be a 16. Highest outcome is a 15.
Agreed.
And then today, upon recording, we have 3 more tickets that will be punched. We have Nichols versus McNeese in the Southland. We've been talking about McNeese these past couple videos. I really, really, really want to see them in the bracket.
I agree. If they win, 11-game win streak for them as well. Dude, so Dangerous,
Dangerous,
man. Yep.
dangerous team. You have Colgate versus Lehigh in the Patriot. We both picked Colgate back in our conference video.
Yep.
And then in the Big Sky, this is a hard one to talk about as a
Yeah.
Eags alum, but it's Montana versus Montana State. So one of them
Crazy.
will be making March Madness.
Yep.
Those are the tickets to be punched today. So we'll have 3 new ones.
Yep.
All the big conferences are now officially in swing, and that tees us up perfectly, Mo. Let's get started with the last 4 buys and the bubble.
The bubble. Starting it off with Michigan State in the Big Ten facing Minnesota, the Golden Gophers, in their matchup in the Big Ten tourney. They split their season series with Minnesota. Minnesota won their most recent game by 3, so we could see another great game here. As for Minnesota, as for Michigan State, I just feel like a win and you're set, you're locked. Their senior guard, Tyson Walker, dropped his second 30-point game of the year in a loss at Indiana last game of the season. So he's coming into March, their conference tourney hot. So watch out for that. But winning, you're in for Michigan State.
I agree with you on a win and in. On the flip side, if they lose, they might be out. Like I think I agree. I think if you win, you're in regardless of outcome.
For sure.
Dude, you don't want to lose that.
You just don't want to, you don't want to even risk what happens there. But
nope, don't tempt fate.
But jumping over to Seton Hall in the Big East, facing up against St. John's, a very important matchup as St. John's is in the last 4 in conversation. Seton Hall swept the season series against St. John's, so they're probably feeling confident in their ability to win this game. But winning in, loss, they could swap places. So it's a huge matchup, like I said.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Winner in, I think, for both teams. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, I think Seton Hall or St. John's, whoever wins in the tournament, if St. John's loses, they're done.
Yeah.
I think. And if Seton Hall loses in a close one,
it's gonna be tough. Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, that comes down to the committee, and that is when I'm thankful I don't have their job.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Jumping another the Big 12 in TCU, facing off against the Oklahoma Sooners in their first matchup in their conference tourney. TCU beat Oklahoma early on in the season when Oklahoma was the 9th-ranked team in the country. So they're feeling good. They beat them by 9. It wasn't on a buzzer beater or anything. So lots of games played since then. But TCU would go on to play Houston in the next round. Just don't get blown out, and I think you're fine. But you got to focus on this first game first. I think they probably gonna want to win it. All 4 of these teams, you just want to win, because if you win, you're fine. But
I think that's the thing about the last 4 buys is you do have a tiny bit more wiggle room
for sure.
But yeah, if you win, you're probably good.
Yeah,
but if you win 2, then you're really good. You're set
for sure. Jumping over to our last team in the last 4 buys in Mississippi State in the SEC. They are on a 4-game losing streak. Tough way to go into the conference tourney, and you're going to need a win, stay alive against LSU. Mississippi State beat them by 20 late in February, so probably feeling good. But they would play Tennessee in the next round if they got through this game. And they just, if they win, which I have a feeling they're going to win against LSU, they just need to make sure they don't get embarrassed against Tennessee.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree with all your takes here. I think the last 4 buys, kind of like I said, tiny bit more wiggle room.
Yep.
But then you get to the last 4 in,
Yeah.
and it's a totally different story. You don't get the luxury of what we were saying, where it's like, hey, if you win one, you're good.
Yep.
Like if Michigan State beats Minnesota, you're solid.
Yeah.
Not like that with this last 4 in.
Mhm.
Kicking us off a team I've really, really loved. I'm going to rewrite history. I'm going to go back to our YouTube video where we picked conference winners.
Yeah.
Give me the Buffaloes to win the Pac-12. I love this Colorado team. As I've said,
Wow.
Cody Williams needs to be healthy.
Mhm.
Like future top 5, top 10 pick in the draft
Yep.
this offseason. They have Tristan Da Silva, who is probably a first-round pick this year as well, and
Mhm.
KJ Simpson, who has March Madness fever written all over him as a guard, a guy who I've just given a ton of love to. I love this Colorado team. They will face, when you see this video, it will be either Utah or Arizona State.
Yep.
Utah played themselves completely out of the bubble. So
Yeah, man.
that's a tough one. If Buffalo or Colorado loses to Arizona State, done.
Yep.
That's a kill shot.
They split the season series with both Utah and Arizona State.
Yep.
So
Well, you
it's a
better
toss-up.
you
Yeah.
better get this win.
Yep.
It's I mean the Pac-12 is really completely open.
Yeah.
Is what it feels like. Arizona is obviously the best team.
Yeah.
But coming off a tough loss to USC,
Mhm. Who
there's
they
reason to
could
worry.
play, but
Mhm.
UW's feeling good, beating WSU. Like
We
it's gonna be
said
an
it.
exciting Pac-12 tourney.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The last one, as heartbreaking as oh my goodness. I can't believe they're realigning all the conferences. That's a whatever.
Yeah.
The next one, personal favorite of mine, you've got
Yep.
Virginia. I haven't said a single negative thing about this team. You've got
Mhm.
Virginia taking on either Boston College or Clemson.
Dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
Beat both of them on the road, played
Mhm.
once in the season. Clemson by 1, BC by 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some
So,
tight margins.
yeah, so, a little cause for concern for the
Mhm.
Cavaliers for sure.
Yeah. Ideally for Virginia, the ideal outcome, Clemson beats Boston College
Yep.
because they're a tournament team, and then they play Virginia and Virginia beats them.
Yeah.
That probably is good enough.
Mhm.
I say probably because that's not 100%,
Yep.
but it feels like a win over Clemson is like a seal on your season of like, hey, we beat them.
Mhm.
But this ACC is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Next one you already touched on, St. John's and Seton Hall.
Mhm.
Winning in scenario, two bubble teams going at it. It's a March Madness game. Like this is a March Madness
100%.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Different for St. John's. If they lose a close one, they're done. Seton
Yeah.
Hall has like maybe a chance if they lose.
Uh-huh.
Indiana State, I talked about them in my last vid, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Lunardi has them as the final team in. Their season's done. They lost a close one to Drake. They came all the way back, fell short, and now find themselves on the bubble. Do you think on Sunday, when the bracket is revealed, Indiana State will be in the field?
I think they should be. I think they I guess right here he doesn't have them as a play-in team or oh, no, he
He
does.
has them as the final, the final
Okay.
team in the bracket, and then
Yep.
they. Who does he have? He has them playing St. John's. Man, that would be a great game.
Yeah. No, I think they should definitely be in, definitely be a play-in team. Too good of a season. Made it to their conference final, lost to Drake, who we both picked. Solid
Mhm.
team. Not a I don't think should be a stain on their season. It's still a
No.
really good year.
Yeah.
Obviously they would have automatically been in with the win, but I think they had a too good of a season to not be given a shot. So
The important note, the one important note that I didn't include in that last video that I wish I would have. Michigan State and Indiana State faced off this year, and Michigan State won.
Oh, wow.
That is an important note with both of them on the bubble.
Yeah, for sure.
Is if Michigan State loses, I think they're out. However, you can't say, and the committee doesn't, I know they say they don't take into account head-to-heads, things like that.
Yeah.
It would be tough if Michigan State lost to have Indiana State in. So
yeah, yep. That's valid. That's a valid point.
That's the one thing I want to see Indiana State play. They have all the makings of a Cinderella team, but we'll see, man.
We will. To be
but
continued.
The first four out. What do you got, Mo?
The Aggies, Texas A&M, facing off against Ole Miss in the SEC Conference Tourney. They split the season series, both road teams winning. They beat them the last game of the year on the road, which is great going into the tourney, but lost by 3 at home. Gonna need to win this, and then they would play Kentucky in the quarterfinals. I don't think the Ole Miss win gets them in, unfortunately.
No. It keeps them to where there's hope.
Yep, just in case maybe an Indiana State slides out, another one of those teams slides out. But yeah, man, gonna need to play a really good Wildcats team in the next round if they were to win. And
yeah,
it's tough.
Oh man,
it's tough. It's a tough draw.
Yeah, and the way Kentucky is playing right now, they can beat any team in the country on any court. So
yeah, man.
That's not fun.
For sure.
But you got to beat Ole Miss first.
Yep, gotta start first in the first round, get that win.
Jumping
to the Mountain West in New Mexico, who is going to face off against Air Force in the first round in a few days. They split their season series, lost by 1 in late February. Quad 4 loss, not a good loss. New Mexico would probably be in considerably the last 4 in if they beat Utah State on the road last game of the year. They lost by 2. That's one loss that you're looking back on the season that if they don't get in, damn, if we got that, maybe we would have been a last 4 in. And then if we beat Air Force, maybe we snuck into a play-in. But gonna need to beat Air Force, and then they're gonna go on to face my Boise State Broncos, who swept them in the regular season. So it's gonna be another tough route for New Mexico.
Yeah, it's funny because New Mexico and Colorado are like complete opposites.
Yeah.
Every time this bracket's updated, Colorado moves up like 1 spot. 1 spot. And New Mexico has just been like, we're just gonna keep bringing you down 1.
Yep.
And they haven't been able to get a win, and now they find themselves out of the bracket.
But gonna need to clutch up in the conference tourney. So jumping over to Wake Forest in the ACC, facing off against the Fighting Irish in I had a little roll there in Notre Dame. Lost by 5 late in February. Wake Forest did to Notre Dame. Would have to win that. Yeah. Would go on to play Pittsburgh, who they split their season series with, but in the second matchup beat them by 33. So if they can beat Notre Dame, they're probably feeling pretty good, 2 wins. You think they're gonna have to win the ACC to get in, because after that Pittsburgh game, it would be in the semifinals. They would have to face the Tar Heels in North Carolina.
Okay, so Wake Forest plays
Notre Dame first round.
Notre Dame. Okay, so they have to win that, and then who would they play next?
Pittsburgh, who they throttled by 33 in their most recent matchup.
I think the magic number is 2.
Okay. And then
damn.
I mean, if they beat North Carolina, obviously
then they're good.
Yeah,
they're good.
Yeah,
they might even skip them over the last 4 in. They might be a bye.
Damn.
But
Yeah,
Yeah.
two good wins, 2 solid wins, and
Mhm.
they have a very good argument to possibly be a play-in team.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
analytically, they are loved.
Mhm.
So, they have that on their side as well. The committee is going to want to have them in if it's
Yeah.
between them and, like, an Indiana State,
Yeah.
but you have to win at least 2, and one of
Yeah.
them being against a bubble team we'll get to.
Yep. Yep. Jumping over to our last Final Four out team, and that is the Villanova. Was it Wild? I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
Wildcats.
Wildcats,
No High
the
School
Big
Musical.
East. Mhm. Facing off in the first round against 3-28 DePaul. Villanova obviously swept the season series easily. They're gonna need to win that game. They would play Marquette in the quarterfinals, which is very
Very.
winnable, especially if is Kolek still supposedly out.
I think it's TBD.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if we'll know until day of or day before.
yeah,
Yeah.
but so that's the quarterfinals, and then the semis would play the winner of Seton Hall and St. John's. So kind
Man.
of similar to magic number, but if you can get that third win,
Mhm.
watch out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
I said it in my last video, but it's important to note the most losses a team has ever had and gotten in is 15, and
that's
Villanova is sitting
insane.
at 14.
Wow,
So unless they win the Big East, which I don't think they will,
for sure.
they'll end the season with 15 losses regardless. And
Yeah.
I'll leave it at
Leave it at that.
that.
Move
Yep.
on to our next 4.
The next 4 out kicking us off, we have Pittsburgh, has kind of just stayed in this spot. Moses talked about it with Wake Forest, the winner of Wake and Georgia Tech, will go on to play
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Sorry, excuse me.
Yep.
Will take on Pitt. That's a game. Pitt, obviously, that is a tournament game, right?
Mhm.
Like that. If that happens, is a tournament game in the same way St. John's and Seton Hall is.
Yep.
Next, you have Iowa, the Hawkeyes taking on
Mhm.
Ohio State, a team where I believe if there was a next 4 out, Ohio State would be in there. That
Yep.
eliminates one of their seasons. Ohio State has a way, way, way harder path, way less realistic. But ever since firing their coach, they've played like a different team.
Mhm.
Sleeper to win their conference. As for Iowa, you got to just notch that win there against the Buckeyes.
Yep.
Next team, you've got Providence taking on Georgetown. Should be a victory. Georgetown
Yeah.
is not very good.
Mhm.
And then Memphis, keeping it short and sweet, they'll take on the winner of Wichita State or Rice. They have to win their conference, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah. Um, they forfeited kind of the opportunity. They lost FAU in their final game.
It's huge.
Yeah, they desperately needed that.
Mhm.
And South Florida too. Their loss to Tulsa,
Dang.
they might have to win it too.
Yeah.
So
Tough, man.
it is. And then FAU is not a lock either. If they like lose their first game,
Could
I
be suspect.
it could definitely be. I feel the best about them of those teams, but you don't know, man.
Agreed. Yep. Yep. It's March.
It's it is March. With the bubble complete, Mo, is there anything else you wanted to add?
I don't believe so. Lots of games coming our way these next few days, so
Yeah. And some fun ones of like these bubble teams taking each other on, which is
yeah.
awesome.
Mhm.
Um, to the final part of the video, I kind of did matchup for matchup in my solo one, but this one we're just gonna kind of graze by, talk about, the 1 seeds, things like that.
Yep.
Movers and shakers and things like that. In the
Mhm.
Midwest, you got Purdue in this region, Texas and FAU. So FAU is obviously here at the 9.
I'm a fan of this Texas path.
Really? Did you have him beating Purdue in our
I did.
Okay, okay. That does no. You had them beating Tennessee. Because
Even I feel less
oh
confident about the Tennessee one. Give me Texas
oh
over
okay
Purdue.
well okay
Sorry, I know Purdue redemption season. I don't know, man. They're good, but something about the Longhorns. I'm really liking. I'm liking the experience. I'm
yeah
liking they've gotten deep. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm liking the squad.
To spare glazing Texas as well, I'm just gonna say I agree.
Thank
That way it doesn't turn because I feel like anytime
thank
we
you.
talk about Texas,
Yeah,
we're glazing, and that's fine.
I'm fine. I work
Um,
at Crispy on the side.
the next team you have is your Mountain West Nevada, sitting at a 5 seed. I wonder if they can get up to a 4 if they win the
Dude,
Mountain West.
okay, bro, that is insane. What are they doing right? How many games have they won in a row?
Yeah,
I don't know if I agree with the 5 seed. Like they're
is
good. Oh, okay, never mind. I
it,
gotta shut up.
they're the same as San Diego State. San Diego State is also a 5.
Are we saying, each of yeah, if we're saying that's how seeding works, I wouldn't agree with that. I'd give them
Where would you have
6.
them? Okay.
At 6, 7. If we drop down to an 8, I'd be fine with them at 7. But like they're on a
Yeah.
what is this 7 game,
Damn.
7-game heater. They win a
To a really
couple in
good
the
conference.
really great conference. They can win a couple in the tourney. Dang, they've been clamping up, bro. Wow. They've been just all right.
I
My fault. My
I
fault,
think
Wolfpack.
put some respect on their name.
Yeah.
I do think in this little pod here, I would pick Nevada to go Sweet 16.
Yeah, and I'd potentially take Charleston over Auburn.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what I was going to bring up next is them
Mhm.
clinching their conference tournament. Lunardi has them as a 13. I think that's the most realistic for them. 12 feels a little I think they were a 12 last year,
Yeah,
if I
that
remember.
sounds right.
Because I think they played San Diego State.
They did. They did.
Okay, because that one, a lot of people picked Charleston, which is
Yeah.
crazy given San Diego State was in the title. But
Mhm.
so you've got that. You've got WSU staying as a 6 with James Madison and
Tough.
11.
That's a tough draw for the Cougs.
That dude, I really think any because though JMU's probably an 11. Any
Mhm.
6 seed that gets them, say a
Watch out.
prayer, man.
Yeah.
Say a prayer. Lunardi moved Iowa State down to a 3, which is important to know. I don't know who he's moved up, so I'm kind of curious to see that.
Yeah.
Um, Oakland getting their automatic qualifier, taking them on.
Mhm.
Florida, I mean, they lost that game to Vandy. They can't lose that game.
Yeah, it's a tough loss.
It is. I said it in my solo vid. They are the most boomer bust team in this entire bracket. They're going to be the hardest to pick.
Yeah.
Like they can either get stomped out in their first game or they can go on like a Final Four run. And I
Yeah,
believe both.
for
So
sure.
uh this is a tough one though. Michigan State down to a 10.
Yeah. It's a good
That loss.
game.
Dude, that I pray that does not happen. I would spend days on end
Yeah,
picking that
because
game.
oh, yeah, that's a ruin perfect bracket right
Yes,
there.
like quickly.
Yeah.
um Marquette and Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac will have to win their conference tournament still. But do you
It
think if
says he says he already has him as an automatic qualifier on there.
I think he has it for any of the he just says it for like the
Oh,
ones because Richmond hasn't
yeah,
gotten an
I see.
AQ
I
yet.
see.
Yeah. Um do you think if Marquette gets bounced early, like in their first because their first matchup would be against probably Villanova, right?
Yeah, I talk 1 sec, sorry.
Putting you
Yeah,
on the spot.
would play Marquette in the quarterfinals, Villanova or DePaul.
Do you
So
okay, so Villanova.
yep.
So if Marquette loses that, do you think they fall to a 3?
Does yeah, they're on a little L streak
Yeah.
since the injury. Yeah, probably.
I
Probably slide because who dropped to a 3 that we just or
uh
Iowa
Iowa
State?
State.
Yeah, probably slot them back up or
Creighton he moved up
something.
to a 2.
Interesting.
So
Not
that's
mad, but
no, I'm not either.
yeah.
Over to the east, UConn, the 1 seed here, going against Longwood. Congrats to Longwood, man.
Yep. We picked
Congrats
them.
congrats to Longwood. 8 seed, your Boise State Broncos. How do you feel against Nebraska?
Dude, that's scary considering they upset the number 1 team in the country at one point. So to know that they have that potential is pretty upsetting
Yeah.
and worrying, but based on how the seasons went, I'd be confident that our team could go in and get a dub on a neutral site.
Yeah, I don't love
Yeah.
Nebraska on the road, so I
We're a pretty
agree with you.
solid road team, man. I
Yeah,
can't lie. We're
yeah.
pretty heady.
He's got South Carolina as a 5, GCU as a 12. GCU still has to win their conference. Kansas is a 4, and the important note, and I was gonna bring this up in my video as well. I didn't think Bill Self would do it. McCullough and Hunter Dickinson both are not playing the Big 12 tournament. I love this. I would have done this because you basically gave them 2 weeks. You gave them a ton of extra time to
Yeah.
rest, get 100%. They are both clearly far from 100%.
Yeah.
So I like it for them.
Mhm.
They might I think they play Cincy today.
Mhm.
They might get bounced I think they
Yeah.
get bounced.
Yeah.
I think it's done.
Mhm.
Do you think they could fall to a 5?
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely for kind of conceding in the Big 12 tourney. I could
Yeah.
definitely see them taking a little whack on the wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my thing too is like let's be fully honest. No matter how you feel about the Jayhawks, they were not going to win that conference, even healthy.
No, it was a tough year for them all
Yeah.
around. There's just the build, the double kind of
Mhm.
big-ish. I don't know.
No bench in
Yeah.
sight.
Yep. We talked
Third,
about it. Yeah.
yep, yep. Uh, Clemson going down a little bit. They're a 6, taking on either St. John's or Indiana State.
Mhm.
Kentucky, if Kentucky wins the SEC, I think they're a 2.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like, especially if they have to beat Tennessee to do it. I
Oh,
think them and
100%.
Tennessee are both 2s.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Moorhead 14, St. Mary's moving up after winning the WCC.
Yep. Earned.
Everything else, yeah, absolutely. Colgate, we'll see if they win today as well.
If Kentucky does beat Tennessee, and North Carolina wins the ACC, I think North Carolina's won. But
I agree.
yeah.
I think here's the interesting thing. If Tennessee wins the SEC and North Carolina wins the ACC, who do you think gets the 1? If they go through the hardest possible path each.
Probably got to just keep it the same, keep Tennessee at 1.
Yeah.
I don't think you can jump them,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but I don't know. That's again one of
Dude.
those situations where I'm glad I'm not in that room making that decision.
Exactly. You hope
Yep,
one of them just doesn't.
for
Like
sure.
like whoever doesn't, you're like, hey, you're a 2. Congrats. You're the
Yeah.
highest 2. The other, you're a 1. And
Yeah.
here we go.
Yep.
Out west, Mo, we know what Stetson can do.
We do know what Stetson can do. They're dangerous. Guards, solid big.
Mm-hmm.
Watch a little foul trouble. We're good. I'm liking Stetson, man.
I am too. I'm hoping they get a 15 because there's some 2 seeds that I'm licking my chops, hoping
Yep.
hoping they get upset.
Yep.
Not much movement other than that in this region,
Mhm.
besides Gonzaga as a 6. Even this is after their loss in the WCC tournament, which is important to note.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like a 6 is right. I could see them being a 7 though.
If Utah State maybe won the Mountain West, might
Yeah.
jump them.
They'd
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
that would be tough.
Mhm.
You have who else? McNeese, they're gonna play for their conference tournament today.
Mhm.
South Florida, we touched on. And then Montana, we'll find out if it's them or MSU as well
Yeah.
today.
Yep.
Over in the South, still a little movement at the bottom. We talked about it in
Uh-huh.
Houston's bracket. Creighton up to a 2. I like it, man.
Yeah, I'm fine with that for sure.
I'm totally fine with this. This is I looking at this region. Dude, this draw for Houston I love it. Like
Yeah. All
this
around. Yeah. This is solid
I think
path to work with because
yeah,
there's some good teams in here that are gonna bounce some other good teams, and then
totally.
they're gonna be a little worked and tired. Houston's gonna be, I mean, unless the Jackrabbits round 1 come
Dude,
out, push them
that
to the brink, overtime, drain them. You never
Mo.
know, dude. That could they're a team that could. They're fast. But
Yeah,
Houston's defense is,
and
oh
their
my
offense is good.
gosh.
Like that's the thing. Everyone praises their defense as they should.
Yeah.
It's the best in college basketball, but their offense they can keep up with pretty much anyone.
Yep.
Like it's not just that their offense is a total liability. Like they can
Mhm.
score in bunches as well.
It's two-way.
Absolutely. Colorado State moved up. That was an important note. Michigan State took Colorado State's. Yes, they took their place.
Yeah.
In there, so they're up to a 9, according to Lunardi.
They're infatuated with getting Northwestern against another Mountain West team, man.
Dude, oh my! I didn't even realize that, but yeah,
I don't know what that's about, but
dude, that would be crazy.
just bounce another one,
Yeah,
second year in a row.
a Boo Boo in at Northwestern is a dog. He's
Yeah.
awesome. If there wasn't a Zach Edey in there, which there is,
Yep.
he would be my conference player of the year there.
Mhm.
Bama's in here. I was gonna say something mean. I'm just gonna move on.
Yep. Yep.
He's got Drake at a 10. I feel like that's fair. It's a
Yeah.
little
It's a
higher
little
than I thought.
high. That's a little high, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking like 11.
Yeah,
10 I'm not mad though. We
for
both
sure.
had Drake. Everyone knows we're high on him, but
Yeah.
yeah, definitely interesting. And then Duke, I'm gonna spare my thoughts on that North Carolina game as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the updated bracket, updated
Mhm.
bubble.
Mhm.
Anything else you want to add before we sign out?
I don't believe so. I
Perfect.
feel like covered all my points, and excited to watch these games play out tomorrow and the rest of the
Oh,
weekend.
it's so cool to know that as the days go on, the matchups get better and better and better. Like
Yes.
the build up to the bracket is almost as good as the bracket.
It's beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
And Selection Sunday right around the corner, and I will probably be in the same vicinity. I will be in the same vicinity as you.
Will we might have a little collab, little in the same room, little video for y'all. So
We'll
get
see.
ready for that.
We'll see. Might have a little change up coming.
We might. Thank you for tuning in.
Yep.
We appreciate y'all. But before we go,
It's back.
it's back. I forgot in my solo vid.
You're good, man. You're good.
I'm sick. I'm sick to my stomach.
The streak ends, but we build a new one.
It Exactly. I'll
Yep.
be okay. So I'll be honest. For those of you who stayed long enough,
Let's get the lore. Yeah, let's get
the lore of
behind
the
it.
last video. I filmed the entire last video, and we use StreamYard. We're not
Yep.
sponsored, so
Not sponsored,
but we
if you
use
want.
StreamYard to
Yeah.
film our podcast. And I'm doing it solo. Normally, I have my wonderful, wonderful co-host who's there to help, who's there to guide, who's there to let me know, hey, this isn't working, or I can't do this, I can't see this, whatever. I recorded an entire podcast without adding myself to the stream, so I was muted the entire time. A 30-minute podcast gone.
Yeah.
It
But he still got it out for you guys.
still got it out.
Because a
And
guy like me, I would have gave up.
I almost did. And I'm so thankful that all y'all tuned into that last video.
Yep.
Because if that video would have like tanked, I'm saying like 8 views, I'm probably not. Mo might be recording this solo. Like I might just have taken the week break. Off.
Yeah,
I would have been like, "Hey, can you run this, bro?" Because I'm cooked.
Yep.
So thank you is I guess the message in that.
For sure. Long story short,
but
song of the pod, your favorite part of the day is back.
It is back. Mo, give the people what they want, because your streak is still going.
All right, yeah, mine's here. I guess I'll take it. And I'm gonna go with a little throwback to one of the greatest years of our lives, 2016.
It's real.
Zenith by Denzel Curry featuring Joey Badass.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful beat. It's floating. Great rhymes, great raps. It's an all-around beautiful song. So if you haven't heard it, go check it out.
Catch Me on Zenith.
Yep.
Come on, man. Great pick, Moses.
Thank you.
I have got Intro by Orion Sun. It's the beat, it's like, I don't even know if I can say the DRU G word on here, but it's addicting.
Wow.
You just want to keep listening over and over and over again. Orion Sun is awesome. So that's your song of the pod, a little midweek. Hey, we also we told y'all that we would have a ton of content, and we've been providing because you've been providing. So
for sure. I wasn't expecting to up it to 3 times a week, but I've loved it and enjoyed every second of it.
Perfect way to end the pod.
Yep.
Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate all of y'all for liking, for subscribing, for sharing. We passed 200 subs. Didn't even say, oh my goodness.
Insane. We didn't even mention it.
So thank you. Whether you just found us through these March Madness videos or you've been rocking with us for a couple months now. No matter what it is, we appreciate y'all.
We can't thank y'all enough.
Absolutely.
We love you. We thank you.
Yes, we do.
And we'll see y'all in a couple of days with some more March Madness heat. Later, everyone.
Later.